Hey, Robby Pierce.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Tell me a little bit about Hoover Toyota.
Hoover Toyota. It's we are fortunate enough to be the largest dealership in the state of Alabama out of all franchises. We actually probably should be because we have a great location and a great product. So basically, I'm just proud I haven't screwed it up.
As the owner.
Yeah, right. You always count on somebody to screw it up. And no, we're blessed with a great demographic and great credit scores, a desirable product. I don't have any distressed merchandise. And fortunately for me, we can deviate from the conventional a little bit. For instance, I haven't advertised prices in 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, kind of like the anti-dealer.
Right. Well, it sounds like you got a good product.
Yep.
That backs all that up. Really
Yeah.
need for that, if you will. So.
Well, it's funny because even though you have a good product, you can still screw it up by not doing the right sales process and having the right people. But fortunately for me right now, I have the best people I've ever dreamed of. And I had to do some unconventional things to acquire them, which kind of taps into what your industry is, because I couldn't get decent human beings to come into the dealership for some reason.
Right.
I don't know if we had a bad image or the industry had a bad image or something, but I had to change everything and flip it upside down to get decent human beings to come in.
Yeah. No, it's interesting you say that with double-digit unemployment that we experienced not too terribly long ago. You would think there would be availability of to pick and choose from that stockpile and everything. But I've heard other companies feeling the same pain, and actually what we're seeing today as we come out of this recession is more of employee enhancement, meaning developing the employees that you have and kind of doing more with less, it seems like, and more rewards types programs, if you will, telling to their skills, developing those skills, and we're seeing employees welcome that, grasp it with open arms to better themselves and the fields they're in and so forth. So it's interesting you say that because you're not the first one that said that. A lot of people have said that, and it's kind of strange that would be the case these days. But
well, I figured if I reduced the risk associated with experimenting with my business, that would help a lot, and it actually did. I went off commissions for salespeople. We're on guaranteed salaries. Everything is like Wacky Wednesday at my store. It contradicts everything I was taught conventionally about how to motivate somebody. Well, you want somebody to be motivated, you got to give them a piece of the action. And quite frankly, my salespeople, they have no interaction or knowledge of what the profit is when they sell a car. None. All they care about is selling the car. And the miracles that has done is improved how they interact with a customer. They're not anxious, they're not pushing too hard, and the customer can feel that.
Sure.
So that was a great thing to get decent humans to try the business. Then it was up to me to capture them and make sure they stay.
Right.
But what trends have you seen as far as successes in getting people to stay?
Well, I think all in all, the work environment. I think we have seen through various studies that 10, 15, 20 years ago, pay was the #1 ingredient out there.
Right.
I've seen that slip tremendously. Not that it's not important anymore, but there's other things that have kind of come up on the scale. Feeling that they belong, that they have a voice in what they do. Benefits has really increased tremendously. I think the healthcare laws had something to do with that as well. Enrichment programs where they can continue to develop themselves. And I think at least here in Birmingham, and I think the Southeast as a whole, that they feel wanted, that they feel appreciated to be where they are. That the lowest person is as appreciated as the top person.
Right.
That's what we have seen tremendously. And I think there's a direct correlation there, if you will, that those companies are more profitable as a result of happy employees. I'm a firm believer in investing in the talent that you have and develop that. And attracting new employees, use the talent you have there to bring people in and recruit with. I think that helps tremendously as well. So,
I think the worst place to advertise for people is in the newspaper.
you know, it's funny. I had a conversation with someone on the way over here today because we're looking for. We don't know if we're looking for a CPA type way in it or more of a bookkeeper way in it, but we're going to advertise through LinkedIn, which we have done a little bit for our clients on a national basis that are looking to more specialized fields. That's about the extent that we do of the recruiting aspect of it. And but the thing about it is, as far as other resources, we really haven't considered anything else. So, other than that, and that's a kind of a roundabout way of recruiting. So I'm interested to see how that kind of comes out as well. But no, you're correct. I think referral type program, that type of stuff goes a long way. I know personally for us internally, we have found our best employees through other employees or through people we know or just word of mouth. Hey, we're looking.
Right.
Versus actually recruiting somebody through other avenues and sources. So,
right. I once said to a waiter in a local restaurant here, he did a fantastic job. He was energetic, clean-cut person, and I said, boy, at the end of the dinner, I gave him my business card. I said, boy, I'd love to hire you. You'd be great. You do really well selling cars. He's like, selling cars? My parents would be humiliated. No thanks. And he took my clean dishes off the table and he left.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow, I just got insulted big time somehow. But, there's, I guess in my industry in particular, there's still a negative stereotype sometimes.
I think there's several industries out there where that is. And I think a lot goes back to what you said earlier, and this is my opinion. People, in my opinion, don't like to be sold. They want to buy. Okay?
Exactly.
And if they feel like they're not being pressured from a sales standpoint, and we treat our consultants and teach them the same way. People buy from who they want to buy from.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the corporate logo that's at the top, if you will. So, and I think that's more today than ever before.
Yeah.
So, with all due respect, I think, some of the older days was, from an industry standpoint, sold.
Right.
This is the best one out there.
It rewarded the guys that hustled. It didn't reward good personalities.
And actually, when I've gone out car shopping, because we have a hodgepodge of a little bit of everything, it seems like, I don't feel that as much as I used to, So I don't know if people are being taught differently, but you seem to be more pleased and happy as a result of that these days.
Oh yeah, I can sleep at night now. It's the best thing I ever did. I went on the radio in my voice, no music or anything. I said, I'm just looking for decent human beings. I'll pay you $50,000 a year guaranteed salary. Come down, I will train you myself. This is something you can do. You'll be rewarded. And the next day, one day on a popular radio station, the next day I had 100 applicants lined out. I thought we looked like an unemployment office. And they were all waiting to see me. And the funny thing is that it was mostly males, and not one of them actually heard the commercial. Their spouses heard it.
Oh, wow.
They were driving around in the car, taking the kids around, and they all said, you get down there to Hoover Toyota. So it was, it had a great unconventional, response, but the people that I hired from that round are still with me now, 5 years later. And I'm just so proud of that because I could never get those people to apply, They would actually ask questions, like, do you have any other benefits? I'm like, no one's asked me about benefits, and I give them my 401k, full medical. How come nobody in an interview ever asks about those? Do they not care? And if so, can I stop paying that? It'd save a lot of money.
I think those are coming up scale, up the ladder, as important, more so than than ever before. We've seen, like I said before, we've seen the actual pay as it kind of fall in the middle there. Job security, those type things have really increased tremendously. Job security, am I going to be here 10 years from now? Stability of the company I'm working for. What's the work environment? What kind of improvements is the company offering to improve myself that I can be better at my job on a daily basis? So those things are definitely more important than in the past. So.
Thank goodness for the digital age too, because we're able to attract a whole new category of humans that did not exist before. You know, I hate to use the word nerdy or something, but because I'm guilty as charged if so. But you know, people that are into the internet, digital, online marketing, or interaction and engagement with people through social media. Those people now are assets to the dealership, you know, and you know, 7 years ago, the kid in the Star Trek t-shirt, we would have said, get out of here, you know, now we're like, oh yeah, do you know how to do video and YouTube pre-rolls?
Exactly.
Come on down.
Exactly.
So it's a whole new category of people that we are benefiting from and looking for now, which is a good thing too. What does SourcePointe do?
Well, we are an HR outsourcing company. And what that basically means is we allow companies to focus on their core business, the reason they went into business from the start, whether it be the owner, CEO, what have you. And we handle all the behind scenes from the paperwork, whether it be payroll, all the insurance related, workers' comp, anything dealing with the labor aspect of that particular company. And more importantly, I would have to say today, is the HR aspect of it. Employee-related problems, we've seen those increase tremendously, if you will, over the last several years, and we do not see that going away. You know, I will tell you, 10 years ago, we talked a lot about it, but not a lot of action was taken. Well, we're finding close to 80% of our client base, if you will, you know, reaching out to us to help them in those areas. A lot of companies out there like a third-party source because they don't want to deal with it themselves, you know. And I tell you, it's extremely interesting from a standpoint because once you think you've heard everything there is to hear, the next day something new will come along that you've never heard before. It's kind of amazing some of the things that goes on within companies, and you know, the owner, president, what have you, having to deal with on a daily basis. That a lot of times can be a distraction to the workforce as a whole. So we like to put those things at rest you know, as soon as we can. So we'll get calls and wee hours sometimes in regards to that. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, specifically for us, we had a record year last year. This year's a record. The last 2 months have been records. I mean, knock on wood, we'll keep this pace going. But like I said earlier, we've been blessed, I think, just having these humans that we have on staff that are so exceptional, and they're so easy to get along with. And that we just had a gentleman we hired from Starbucks last month, and his first month selling cars, he sold 32 cars.
Wow.
I've never heard of that many. 32 cars. It's just downright enthusiastic, you know, and just congenial, and those are the types of personalities that you desire to have, you know.
Sure.
And the old salesperson from 10 years ago, you know, my mama always fancied me as a salesperson. I can sell ketchup to an Eskimo or whatever. I don't even know if that saying is right, but we don't have those, you know what I mean? So we're just, our game plan in the future is to maintain this course of having this pleasant interaction, this pleasant engagement, surprising the customers when they come in. They're like, oh my gosh, I go to church with this guy. Thank you, win. That is a win, because it certainly increases the chances of success.
Sure. Well, nice talking to you. Good luck to yourself.
Thank you, you too. Very good.
Yeah.